travel, AAA will take care of you. And finally, the Kentucky Peerless Distilling Company is here. And they have a great designation, a fantastic award. We talk a lot about bourbon, but these guys have achieved at the highest level. Before we talk about the award, I want to introduce the gentleman to my right. First of all, you've met him before. We have, Caleb Kilborn, Master Distiller. Caleb, welcome back.
Thanks for having me on again.
All right, and Carson Taylor. Carson is fifth generation of the Taylors who really began Peerless and continue the legacy. That's what I want to ask you about. Carson, can I jump right in?
Absolutely.
All right, welcome.
Have at it.
By the way.
Thank you very much for having us.
I think it's interesting that, okay, so Peerless, great history, long history, but because bourbon is in your DNA, you guys needed to kind of not only resurrect, but reinvent what Peerless would be moving forward. Tell me a little bit about that vision, if you would.
So we always had all the memorabilia and everything around my house growing up, and about 8 or 10 years ago, my father had retired, and we were looking for something to do to get back into it. So, you know, with the bourbon boom going on and everything that's happening, you know, what better thing in Louisville, Kentucky than to start back up Peerless Distillery that my great-great-grandfather started.
So great-great-grandfather, you again, fifth generation.
Yes, sir.
But what is kind of ironic, but I think really cool, is that you have this young prodigy, this master distiller in Caleb. I'm amazed by his story. We've had him on a number of times, and he's so knowledgeable about bourbon. But that's kind of what you were looking for, right? It's like, yes, we're proud of the name, but we want to do something even better than has been done in the past, right?
Yes, we want to make absolutely the best product we possibly could. So we brought Caleb in from the ground floor. When I say ground floor, before we even poured concrete back in. So he was there from the start to get all the process piping and kind of build things how he wanted.
Because he's a humble guy, and I'm going to get to you, Caleb, here, and I am a fan, but because he's a humble guy, what was it that really kind of made you realize that he's the guy for us, he's the master distiller, he's the one that can move our brand forward?
Well, you know, the family values that he has coming up, growing up in a small town on a dairy farm, you know, the mannerisms, how well he speaks in front of people. But it really comes down to he has the knowledge of the distilling industry. He knows exactly, you know, temperatures, mash bills, everything from grain to bottle, how to make that product and how to make it what we feel like is the top notch in the country.
And I would think the youth being a factor here, and a good one, in that he knows state-of-the-art techniques. He's been taught okay, good. That's I assumed this, but I didn't want to. Okay. Okay, so Caleb, tell me about this new designation. Okay, Best Kentucky Bourbon. And this isn't just by a couple of companies. This is by experts from the American Whiskey Magazine. So, okay, tell me a little bit about who is on that panel.
It's mainly going to be industry experts, different editorial, different people who are, their livelihood depends on and within whiskey. Everyone from people who write articles all the way through to different master distillers and brand CEOs. So it was truly an award that wasn't just by a small group of insiders. It was an industry-encompassing award. And to just kind of give reference to this, Brent Elliott, master distiller of Four Roses, he was awarded as Master Distiller of the Year at this same ceremony. So it's something that carries quite a bit of weight. And one thing you was talking about my youth and everything, I was up for the award too. I had no idea I was going to be on the short list for nominees for that.
Yes. Wow, congratulations. Best Kentucky Bourbon.
Yes.
I find it interesting, and I want to ask you too about this, Carson, is the people with a sophisticated palate. There's really a small group of those who can really distinguish the really good. I mean, I think, you know, I can tell basically when something is smooth and nice, but these guys get into, you know, vanilla tones, and this has a little bit of coffee to it and all that. These guys are kind of freaks, aren't they? I mean,
Caleb has a much more sophisticated palate than myself. I taste something, know if I like it, good or bad, and can get the idea. Caleb and a couple of the other guys at the distillery and girls can pick out the most minute detail of one thing, which is mind-blowing. Well, to bring that into detail a little further, it's more or less just bringing it into focus. You can taste and know if you like something, whether it's good, bad, other, and we're tasting the same thing. It's just that I have a little bit more, it's kind of like muscle memory to be able to pull out the specific notes. You may say sweet, I may say very specific, like, oh, it's like a toasted brown sugar. you're tasting the right thing, and the important thing is you can appreciate quality. Wow. You don't have to have the specificity.
Again, I can't say it enough, though. Best Kentucky Bourbon by a panel of experts, and we know how seriously we take our bourbon, so this is a huge award, a huge designation. I want to talk to you a little bit, Carson, about when you were making the new distillery downtown. This is something, you've got your family involved 5 generations back. So what was that process like? I know you're close with your father, Corky. When you guys decided to start designing this, what was that like? That had to be probably a lot of weight on your shoulders, like, man, to carry this forward with our name on it. What are we going to do here?
Sure. You know, if I had a dream job, it would be to work with my father. I mean, what would you rather do than he's built a company and retired, and we have the chance to work together to build something totally great. Him being a businessman, me having a construction background. You know, we looked for quite some time to find the perfect building in downtown Louisville. We found it on 10th and Main Street in downtown. Took 2 years under construction, so I kind of had the knowledge or the background to be able to take that on. You know, we didn't just sign a check and bring somebody in to build this distillery. We were there on a daily basis designing. I was driving my Bobcat tearing out the floor. So we literally know it from the ground floor up. Took 2 years almost to the day. Before our first distillation came through. Wow. But to be able to work with my father and be a small family-owned place really means a lot. You know, he's much better of a storyteller than myself.
I think you're pretty good.
But when it comes in there and you all can come through and take a tour, we're open Monday through Saturday to take tours. We'd love to show people around, show literally from grain to bottle. We mill, cook, ferment, distill, barrel, and bottle all under one roof. Well,
I've got to tell you, Carson, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, they love you. They brag about you all the time because you really help put what they call heads in beds. It's now no longer just a Louisville thing. It is a global thing, the bourbon of, or the business of bourbon. Okay, I have to ask you, Caleb, is this the winning product here?
That is it. That is the one.
This is Kentucky's Best Bourbon, as designated by, what is it, Whiskey Magazine?
Whiskey Magazine.
Woo. How do you feel as the guy who really, for lack of a better term, designed this, formulated this? How does that feel as a master distiller?
It's an extraordinarily humbling experience for people to like your craft. I mean, it's not enough to just love what you do. Sometimes you may do something and not be very good at it. So to just have the validation of having all these experts, all these people, whether it be the most knowledgeable person who's sitting on a panel in New York, or just the average person who walks in off the street and takes a tour at Peerless. We love it when people love what we do, and it just really drives us, and it continues to motivate us. And the product isn't just the product that you have here. In that same set of awards, we were up for Tourism Center, we were up for tours, we're up for a lot of different awards, and it's not just because myself and Carson here are passionate about what we do in our craft. It's everyone at Peerless. It's the tour guides, it's the single barrel curators, it's the distillers, the cookers, everyone there. This is their award. This isn't something that he did solo. It's nothing I did solo. This is truly a family award.
Well, it's good when good things happen to good people. You should puff out your chest because that's a huge award. And they, by the way, Peerless, any place that they buy adult beverages, you can purchase a bottle of this good stuff?
Yes, most any place around town, and obviously at the distillery we offer both bourbon and rye, single barrels, and our small batch product.
And you guys will remain involved. I know you've got a couple events coming up at the Clay, right? The Henry Clay.
Yep. Peerless will be available at the Bourbon Classic the 28th, 29th of this month. And we have a few other little dinners and different things that we're working on. We don't have the specifics of those put together yet.
And you'll be involved with Bourbon and Beyond, as
always. Oh, yes. Really excited to see what the lineup looks like this year. I don't believe it's out yet, is it?
I don't think it is out yet, but I'm
I know they have Hometown Rising, but really the whole Tri-Festival is just amazing for the city. It's you're talking about beds and heads. People on tours. People come here for the music, they come here for the whiskey. It's just a great representation for the city of Louisville and how it really builds the local economy.
You guys are fantastic. Again, Carson, Caleb, and of course Carson, 5th generation, Peerless. So you've got to check them out in 10th and Main.
10th and Main.
10th and Main.
120 North 10th Street.
Yeah, take a tour. You guys, will you take me through if I go?
Absolutely.
I love that.
Come on down anytime.
I love